contemplate the workings of the inner being. Your eyes are wide open, but are you really seeing? Hey!
What up?
We're back. This is Mentor in the Mirror. How is it going? I hope that you all are as excited as I am because this is going to be all the way live.
Way live.
Total liveness. So one topic that we talk about a lot, so we figured we might as well jump right in episode 2 to share our perspective on the word construct because we do use it regularly. So we're going to break down a little bit what a construct is, and it's about what you think. It's a structure.
That's right. It's a structure.
Just like that pause. Yeah, it's a structured pause.
It's a structure. It's
little structure.
It's a framework for people to live by. It's a framework for anything. Construct can be a government. A construct can be a religion, a church. It can be a family structure with family rules. These are constructs. Constructs can also be physical things. Your body is an actual physical construct, and your house is an actual physical construct. We speak mainly about societal constructs because that's what's really messing with people a lot. Societal constructs, and people don't always know how affected by constructs they actually are.
I think the two main ones are family and relationships. Well, no, they all have a pretty big role. But the family structure, the construct of family is pretty hardcore. And once you start to realize how the idea of family manipulates your behavior and puts you in a reactive position versus a responsive, it's pretty mind-blowing, actually, how much we are governed and ruled and manipulated by shame and guilt that comes as a result of some of these constructs.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the base construct of humankind is the identity. And the identity is who I am and who I think you think I am, right? Or who you think I am. This is the base. After that comes the interpersonal construct. That's between two people. And in a family structure, there are multiple interpersonal constructs, and then there's the whole family construct. And the family construct tends to have governance over all the people within that family structure. So if you start to honor your identity, the family structure can come in and say, well, that's not how we do. We don't do that in our family. That's not how the family does. You have to do what the family does. And then people will fall back and not honor their own identity construct. And this can cause a lot of physical disruption in a human being.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things. Like if you consider the fact you have a relationship with your sister, you have a relationship with your brother, those are two different relationships. There's certain things that you'll say to your sister you might not say to your brother, or certain things you wouldn't say to your mom, right? Like, oh, don't say that in front of mom. So all of these identities, individual identities in relation to others in their construct as individuals collectively in a family, you've got countless dynamics happening at any given time under the construct of family. And the construct of family is governed by religion and other societal elements as well.
There are tons and tons of things that constructs are affected by. And most of the time, they're affected by other constructs. And there's an interweaving of constructs. And that's when it becomes complicated. Constructs, from my standpoint, are usually created to help people for the most part. Some constructs are created to control people and to manipulate people and to put people in some real shitty places. Most constructs, though, are like most people. Most people are out for the benefit of other people and each other, and themselves. There are some people who are not about peace and connection and that type of stuff. Constructs function pretty much the same way, and you can bet your bottom dollar that those constructs that are built to fuck with people are built by people who are fucking with people. So when you look at the whole thing around constructs, it becomes very complicated. And this can cause a lot of strain on the human body.
Well, and it's like that whole idea, if you have all of these, we almost, for me, I will say that this is my experience. There are times that throughout my expansion process of self-work, whatever you want to call it, it felt like no matter what I did, I could not get ahead, move ahead, grow, expand, whatever. It felt like something was weighing me down. And in retrospect, I wonder, I don't wonder, I'm quite certain that there was multiple constructs that were not congruent, pulling against me and in opposite directions. And that's straining on the physiology. So it's something that we've identified as multi-construct strain, an actual physiological response to multiple constructs working against each other or not congruent to who you are or who you're evolving to be.
So when you look at the foundation of everything that is, it is imagination. Imagination is the beginning. It is the base point of everything. Everything that you're in was imagined at some point. Some people believe in a God that imagined us the way we are and created us. So it started from imagination. God, if you believe in God, right? God had to have some sort of imagination, or the universe, or whatever you believe in, had to have some sort of imagination to create all of this. Our DNA structure, all of this stuff is very complicated. So when you look at it, imagination is the foundation point of all these things. And human beings, we are creators, right? And this is where these concepts around religion come from, of us being made in the image of God, right? Because God created stuff, and so we create things in the image of God. So we create things, and we create ideas. We create objects, we create houses, we create cars, we create all this stuff. And when we have an imagination that we create, the imaginations can be really taxing on the brain as you're moving your imagination space. So when when you have the imagination of one construct here, this construct operating with this construct using this device, and this construct is contingent upon this construct, and you have all these things in the back of your mind, like religion, gender, race, fandom, right? You're a fan of a sports team,
and if someone else isn't a fan, death.
Patriotism, all these things are different constructs that can be pulling on a human being all at the same time. And when those constructs pull at a human being on the same time, it puts a lot of strain on the brain
and the body. You know, Ta eloquently and perfectly will break down for you the impact that the brain has, well, the impact of all this thought, subconsciously and consciously, that's happening all the time. Like, you know the metrics better than I do, if you'll explain the real breakdown of what happens with all these things we are considering consciously and subconsciously at any given time, the impact on the body.
So I'm going to be eloquent. Someone pass me some tea, some crumpets.
The pinky is out.
No, yeah, gluten-free crumpets.
Vegan,
gluten-free crumpets that were fair trade, and all that other stuff.
From the crumpet farm.
They
were free range.
They came free range crumpets from the crumpet master and crumpet farm. Old McCrumpet had never mind.
In Crumptopia?
Yo. So the human brain, according to our modern science, utilizes about 20 to 25% of your body's resources of water, oxygen, and energy at rest, when it's resting. Like if you're laying in the bed awake all day, your body is utilizing that much of your body. Your brain is using that much of your body's resources. Now, when you consider that the human brain is about 2% of the average, quote unquote average, whatever that means. Right?
I think my brain is 3%.
The average.
So big.
So let's say if you got a big brain, right, between 2 and 2.5% of your body's resources, of your body's weight, utilizing 20 to 25% of your body's resources when you're at rest, right? And that's just supposing that you're not thinking about all these constructs and creating all these identities and ideas and adhering to all this family drama and all this race drama and all of this drama chameleon, right? So you can go, let's say, and then you tack on physical activity, right? So you're doing physical activity, you're doing work, you're manipulating something in a factory or in a job, or you're working at your computer. Plus you've got all these things running in the background, right? Well, what's my mother going to say? And oh man, this guy down the hall, and what if this girl doesn't want to date me because I'm black and she's white? And all these things running in the background. This stuff can tax your brain to a place of maybe 50-60%. Let's say it's 50 or 60% being utilized of your body's resources, right, of oxygen, water, and energy being utilized by 2% of your body's weight. Okay.
I was mostly just taking a breath. I was taken aback by the magnificence that you are. You're so wonderful.
Thanks.
Go on.
So I just want to give you space because I heard you breathing and stuff. So
I appreciate the space.
Yeah, you're welcome. So if that happens, right, when that's happening, from the neck, from the jaw down, never gets to catch up with what the brain is doing. So it can make it really difficult for your body to heal, to replenish itself, to rejuvenate itself, and this taxes the rest of the body. And so if you see, like, have you ever seen somebody who's been up all night and they got circles around their eyes, right?
Yeah, that was me last week.
Yeah, that's probably because they've been up all night thinking, and the brain is using so much resource that they get dehydrated. Like, you can get dehydrated from thinking too much. I mean, how many times have you been working, you haven't done anything all day, you start to get really thirsty because your brain is utilizing a lot of your body's resources, the water, all of the minerals and salts, the electrolytes, your brain uses a lot of stuff. So when you have all these constructs pulling and squeezing and yanking and tugging and doing all this stuff, it makes it really tough for the rest of your body to catch up. And that's why you can be exhausted after a lot of thinking. So when we work with people and we see these things, we ask them, do you know what you're ascribing to? I don't know what's going on, man. I'm so stressed out.
I think most people don't actually really know, like, until they think they know. And then they start writing it all down and they don't know. They really did not realize the depth of it. And it's like they have all these apps, like when your apps are all open on your iPhone,
right,
and it's slowing the processing and it's draining the battery. It's like that's what I'm watching. And I have experienced, but watching people come in that they don't know all the apps that are even open until you throw questions down in front of them to answer.
That's right. And there'll be many times where we'll ask people, do you like the people living in your household? And they'll be like, of course I do. What do you mean? Oh, I love my wife and I love my kids and I love my mother-in-law. And then you wait and they calm down and you tell them, look, man, even if you didn't, it's fine. And they're like, you mean it's really okay for me to not like these people? Sure. It doesn't matter to me one way or another. It doesn't matter to you. Are you being honest with yourself? Are you lying to yourself? And are you containing falseness inside your body? And when we have untruths in our body tends to take the position of it. So there are plenty of times where I'm working with somebody and their neck is pushed in, their shoulders are rotated in because they're hiding. And hiding is a posture. If you see somebody with their head down and their shoulders turning, they're hiding. They're probably hiding from something, or they've been. And your body starts to take the shape of that. The fascia around your muscles and your bones starts to take the shape of hiding, or it takes the shape. Your posture is a really important thing, and this can be one of the many things that can happen with your body as you are not being honest.
I mean, that directly impacts your hormone release, your body position, what you're thinking about. And it's so fascinating how often we'll work with someone and they're like, oh, well, the doctor said it's all in my head, or my family says it's all in my head. And what is in your head directly correlates to what's happening in your body. Directly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone's experienced at some point. You're trying to go to sleep. You already don't have a lot of time to get sleep. So then you start thinking about, if I don't fall asleep right now, I'm not, if I fall asleep right now, I can sleep 8 hours or 5 hours. And then you literally can't go to sleep because, at least for me, I guess I'm sharing my experience, I can start to get anxious knowing that I really need sleep. And then the attachment of not having sleep makes me anxious, which makes my body restless because my body is trying to keep up with my mind, which it can't. Trust me, it can't.
What?
Exactly. Who?
Why? Where?
Never.
When? Huh? What?
But that's what's so fascinating with body, is how willing people are to have faith in things they cannot see, right? So we'll talk religion or spirituality, or LLCs or corporations. We can't see them, it's like we have an LLC. Where is it? Is it out there?
It's under the
I don't
table.
know where it is. It's somewhere.
Henry
though.
ate it.
Yes, maybe Henry is our LLC. What do you think, Henry? And yet, seeing or not wanting to see what's going on in the body, having lower immune system, your adrenals are shot. I mean, all of this is also in addition to what you're eating and whatever, fed by the constructs you're participating in. And we're not saying that they're good or bad. They're either functional or dysfunctional to what you're trying to create in your life.
And what the people around you are creating in their lives. And are you ascribing to it? Are you just backing off and allowing things to happen? And this is where things can get dicey. And, we've worked with a lot of people around, I don't know why this, the doctors don't know why this disease won't go away. Or I don't know why I'm so stressed. I keep going to therapy and nothing's happening and blah, blah, blah. And then we roll out the real questions, are you living where you want to really be living? Are you living with the people you want to be living? Do you like your mom? Do you like your sister? Do you like your kids? Do you like your dogs? Do you like to paint on your walls? Do you like your career or your job or your vocation? Do you enjoy it? Do you like paying taxes? Do you not?
Score.
Do you pay your taxes? What does your body feel like with these things? These are all questions people don't really ask themselves. They just assume that it's understood by people around them and themselves. And they don't really get into the deep introspective questions around their lives. And when you can start to peel back the layers and see what's affecting you and how it's affecting you, you can make choices to lean in and participate in a way that you want to, or just participate the way you're being it's being slapped onto you.
That's freedom.
And that's where freedom starts. That's where freedom grows. That's where freedom expands.
I feel like freedom can start in the mind. Until you are non-reactive in your nervous system, you can't be free. Because you are still. And when I talk about the nervous system, and we'll break this down a lot more, that would be your boss walks into work, or they come at the end of the day and your heart sinks or your body gets activated because they're coming to say something to you about a project, and you can feel the anxiety in your body. That's a nervous system reaction. And we have thousands of those programmed into our nervous systems and into our physiology. And so the more of those that can come in to heighten your state of stress makes it hard for you to think, means that you're going to really have a challenging time accessing the conscious thought that you've evolved into where you are right now. So for me, true freedom has come from really working through things that made me reactive in the past. It's like giving your power away in some way.
Look, I'm about my life being easy, being fun, being magnificent. And if I am stuck in a pit of slavery and prison because I'm ascribing to shit that I don't feel connected to, that's not how I want to live. Hey, that's a prison for me. That's jail. I'm not interested in that. There are enough people imprisoned in this planet inside of jails. We got people walking around outside in invisible jails. And we're looking to help people to wake up so that their bodies can calm down, so that we can drop the stress thresholds of the planet, so that human beings are not making the biggest, largest carbon footprint on the planet. Mm-hmm. Not the cow dung, not the chickens, not the fossil fuels being burned. Human lives, stressed out humans, creating the largest waste product that the human body creates is carbon dioxide. And that's what we push out. When we get stressed out, we push out. We take in more oxygen because we're stressed. The brain uses more stuff, it creates more carbon dioxide, pushes it out into the atmosphere. And we're talking about all this other stuff creating greenhouse gases, and that's what we are doing. So I bet the deer in the forest and the foxes and the lions and stuff, they're stressed just enough to not raise the carbon footprint on the planet.
They're only stressed when they need to survive
when they need
versus
to eat.
being trapped in survival mode.
Right. Lion, when the last time you seen lion at a support group? Never. Right. When the last time you seen beaver at a support group? Well, never mind.
That's a different kind of support group.
That's a different kind of beaver. It's a different kind of beaver. Anyway, so when is the last time you've seen animals going for stress, all this stress stuff?
Or not being able to come out of their den because they're just too depressed.
So this is another thing that we're really looking to get people, to encourage people to see, is that we're talking about saving the planet and making the planet sustainable for human life. We've got to bring down our own individual carbon footprints so that we're not so stressed the fuck out, so we don't stress each other out,
and
so
that we can expand.
Yeah, so that it can be fun.
And so your body can heal, because that's the other part of this as well. Even aside from breathing, your body cannot heal in a state of fight or flight. It is not a priority. Your reproductive function is not a priority. Your eyesight is not a priority. Your digestion is not a priority.
Nope.
All the things you want to dream, create, contribute, expand to, not a priority. So if you're really looking for transformation, it can't only be done in the mind, or when it's only done in the mind, it's not going to stay fully realized, because without the body, without the nervous system, there's a huge piece that is still outside of your control. And people think that all the control happens here. It's the control here that causes the most physiological reaction when it's not in alignment to who you are and who you want to be.
That's right. So I think we've given you an earful for episode.
A nice chunk for today.
For number 2. This is just the second. This is number 2, man. That's it. We're just getting started. We're just getting fired up. So remember
to rate, review, and subscribe. It's new. Reviews are so important for us through this process, to know what you liked. What was your takeaway? And if you leave a review, okay, I want you to take a screenshot on your phone of the review, tag us on Instagram, Tahkole, TAHKOLE, and we want to personally thank you with a video, with, in some kind of way. Just thank you for taking your time with us.
Yeah, and we definitely will. And we are also really, really open and encouraging people, you, the person who's listening right now, to send us what you want to hear us talk about, because perspective for us is everything. Our perspective is important to us, and we hope that our perspective is important to you. Your perspective is important to us. Everything with us is welcome here. Even the things we may not agree with is welcome here. And this is the type of dialogue we're looking to create. We're looking to have the dialogue that may not always be super comfortable. So let's get uncomfortable. Let's take off the mask, get naked, and let's talk about it together. There's no warring here. It's all welcome. So send us your topics and we'll talk about it, and we will shout you out on the topic, and we will tag you if you like. If you want to be tagged on social media, we will tag you. So please drop whatever you want to hear us talk about in the comments here on the podcast, or in our Facebook, on our Facebook page, or on our Instagram page, anywhere on social media. Let us know.
We love you so much. Thank you for coming on this adventure with us. And this is today's episode of Mentor in the Mirror. See you next time.
Be free.
If you let the airflow, do we not breathe? If you lie to us, do we not believe?